Hey there, welcome back. So today we will deal with ArrayList. For doing so, I have already added this app.java file. The name of the class is app, and we also have the main method. Alright, so let's get started. Now, in order to get started, firstly we will create an static array list because it would be more convenient for us to get access to an static element. So it would be like static array list. Now in here, as soon as I type in array list and try to autocomplete, it will bring up this notation, and in here we can see this pair of diamond operator, and in between there is this e. Now what is this e and how to deal with this, we will check this in detail in our generic section. But as of now, understand this, that array list can contain any type of object. It could be like array list of integers, a string, or custom object. So in here we will create a list of string. That would be good. So explicitly we will define that this is a array list of string. So this seems to be good enough. The name of the list could be like list names equals new array list, and we will autocomplete. Now in here you can notice that in here we have this pair of parentheses. In fact, ArrayList is implemented as a class in Java. So this is the reason why here is a pair of parentheses, and we are calling the default constructor of ArrayList. So this is cool. Now in our main method, we will add couple of elements, and I will try to show you how we can like display the element in the ArrayList. So for doing so, I will type in list names dot, and in here we have couple of options, right? So there are a couple of options, and one of the option is add, and we will add in a name, which is my name, to get started. And when it comes to displaying list, then how we can do it, let's check it out. Now in order to display, we will type in sysout, and we will type in list names dot get, and we will pass in the index. The index for my name is 0 because this is the first element, and if we print, the output is Chand, which is perfect. Now let me add in a yet another name, and the name could be, for example, John. And if we would like to display the complete list, then we can directly pass in the list. So I will simply type in list names, and that's it, and we would be able to display in the specific format. So it would be Chand comma John, which is perfect, right? So this is how we can like add element and we can display element. Now definitely there are more options and more smart things to ArrayList. For example, we can remove element, we can modify element, and we can add element into the list. How to add it? This is something which we have already seen. So let's create a method which will in fact delete an item from the list. So it would be like void remove name, and we will accept the position from where we need to remove the name. Alright, so in here the variable as a parameter would be int entity, and the name could be like position. And in fact, when we are removing a specific name from this list, there are two possibilities. Either we can remove using the position, or we can also remove by exact name which we would like to remove. So let us modify the name of this method as remove name by position. Alright, and let me copy this method, and we will create a yet another method as remove name by name, or in fact by string. That would be a better name. Alright, so all the bookkeeping stuff is done, and this will receive a string entity, right? So string name. And let us do one more thing. Let us add couple of more names in here. So it would be like Chand, John, Steve, Pooja, then maybe Salim, Rahul, then Mia, and Angel. So these are the names. Let us get rid of this statement. We don't want to list the names now, and this is cool. Alright, in fact, let us create a method display list. That would be rather a better thing. So let's hit enter and we will type in void display list, and we will receive the list, right? So in here I will type in array list, and the name of the list would be like list, or in fact it could be like names, right? And we will again make use of for each. So I will type in for string name colon names, and we will display name. All right, oops, I have enclosed using double quotes. It would be like name. All right, so this is good. And after our main method, first of all, let us try to call the display list method. So I will type in app equals new app dot display list. So first of all, let us quickly try to check the display list method, whether it is working properly or not. And here is the output, which is perfect. All right, so now moving forward, we would be coding for these two methods, which are remove by position and remove by string. So in here I will type in list names dot remove. Now as soon as we check the methods which are available to us, there are two versions of remove method: remove which accepts object and remove which accept int entity. So whenever we would like to remove element by index, we will take help of this version where we accept the index number. So let's do that, and the index would be position in our case, right? So we will pass in the position, and that specific element from the list would be removed. All right, so let us also remove name by string. So I will again type in list names dot remove from object, and the object could be anything. Object is super class of everything, so we can definitely pass in name to it. So let's pass in name and our work would be done. So this is cool. Now when we try to execute the program, here is the list. Let me expand this a little. Now for example, we try to remove my name, which is at position 0. So in here I will type in app dot remove by position and pass in 0. Let me execute this, and oops, we need to again call in the display method, right? So display list, and we will pass it the list once again. And in fact it would be good if I add in a separator in here, else it will create confusion, right? Let me do it. So this is the original list, and this list is after removing the first name, which is my name, right? So now the list doesn't contain my name. Now what would be in the position 0? So that is a question, right? And the answer is, in position 0 we will start containing John. ArrayList is smart enough, and it will reposition each and every element, and it will promote the index number of every element by 1 in this case. Alright, so in order to check the concept whether all of these elements got promoted or not, let us do one thing. Let us quickly try to display the element at position maybe 0 and 1, right? So let me add in a separator. Then I will type in sysout, and in here I will type in list names dot get, and we will pass in 0. And let us copy this line of code and paste. Let's print the element which is there in position 1, and here are the two elements, John and Steve. So John and Steve, in fact all of these elements got promoted by 1 because we have removed the very first element from the list. So this is cool. And now let us add an multi-line comment for all of these stuff which we have added. So this will be available to you. Now moving forward, let us make use of this particular method, remove name by string. So in here, first of all, display the list, and then let us add in this line of statement, which would be as a separator, and then we will call in remove name by string, and we will, for example, remove Pooja. All right, so in here I will type in app dot remove name by string and pass in Pooja, and then try to display the list. and we will display the list. Now in here we can see that the Pooja name is not removed from the list. What is the reason? And the reason is that the object will compare the exact match, and in here when we are trying to remove this by string, the P of Pooja is in lowercase, so we need to make this as an uppercase, and there should be an exact match of a string or in fact any other object, then only remove name using comparison between object will work. So in here the object is a string object, so Pooja should be exact element in the list, then only remove by object will work. And the name of the method in our case is remove name by string, but the actual name of the remove method is remove, and we simply pass in the object, and the object could be of any type. So this is cool. Now if I execute the program, then we can notice that the name Pooja has been removed from this list. Now friends, the position of Pooja in the list was 3, starting from 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3. At position 3 there was Pooja. Now Salim would be promoted as an index number of 3, Rahul would be at index number of 4, Mia would be at index number of 5, and so on and so forth. So all the remaining elements after Pooja would be promoted by 1 position. Alright, so if now we quickly check the position of Salim, it should show us at position 3. So let us also check that real quick. So I will add in a separator once again, and we will display the element in position 3. Alright, so get position in 3, and it should display Salim. So this is it. This is how we can remove element. This is how we can add element. Now we will also check how to modify element in our next video, because the length of the video is pretty high, I suppose, right? So we'll take a break and come back and proceed further with ArrayList. Thanks for watching and take care.